Hi guys. Now we're gonna get to the Q&A that should have happened yesterday. So, I posted those two questions: neediness versus needs. Now, needs. There's one rule I'd like to encourage you. Let's see that right there. One rule I'd like to encourage you to adopt as a permanent truth. To let this land here in your heart. And that is this: your needs, regardless of what they are good. Period. Good. You don't have to justify them. You don't have to give excuses for them. You don't have to dismiss it. You don't have to qualify them. Needs are natural. They're part of how we exist. They're part of what you could call the economy of relationships. Because what is a relationship without having something to contribute and having something to ask for, right? We want to give, but we also want to receive. Needs are a way in which that happens. It helps us thrive, helps other people thrive. It's a way of creating connection. So needs are not wrong, okay? Now, knowing what your actual need is can be a trick, because a lot of times we think the surface level action or circumstance or condition is what we need. Like, I need a Mercedes, or I need a Corvette. You know, my son and I have been dreaming of cars lately. That's not what we need. We need transportation. So when we get clear on what we really need, we can actually get it met a lot easier. When we think about, like, emotional needs, like I need connection, I need love, I need validation, those kind of things, they're very, very normal needs, guys. They are not wrong. They are good needs. Your needs are worth knowing, they're worth fulfilling, they're worth respecting. And because of the way we grew up, our dominant experience was toxicity, was being attacked, was being diminished, was being outrightly suppressed. And this is why. It's not because our needs were bad. It's not because our needs were wrong. It's because our needs took away from their attention on themselves. See? When a narcissist or abuser exists in our lives, there's this thing called the arrow of attention. It exists in all relationships. And typically that arrow of attention points towards them and you. But in a narcissistic relationship, there's one direction, and it's towards them. So when your needs show up, it tries to move that arrow around to point towards you, and they can't take that. That just isn't possible. They need their supply. My God, stop making yourself so important, right? It's more like, we matter too, so our needs are never, ever wrong. So rule number one, needs aren't wrong. Number two, neediness. In my opinion, the majority of neediness is a gaslighting term. It's a term that people come up with that don't have a capacity or an honesty with themselves about making space for your emotional experience, your emotional needs. Period. So I really don't believe neediness exists. Now, someone is maybe clingy, or they're overwhelming, or they're suffocating, or smothering. That's because they're completely depending on the other person to meet their needs. Their identity is invested in that person. And so that is going to be consuming, and that's a very real thing. We as codependents have to be very conscious about our separation from other people. So when we talk about neediness in that aspect, we're going to be looking at how much am I relying on this person to make me feel better about me. That would be a problem. Because nobody is responsible for how we feel about ourselves. We are. And that's part of our emotional healing, our emotional maturity, our evolution is really founded in this concept of total ownership about our worth. And that doesn't mean our ownership is isolated. That doesn't mean we don't get reassurance from others. It does mean that we take responsibility for meeting that reassurance. We can ask for it. We say, I just need to know You know, I have my invisible demo person, I call her Sally. Sally, I need to know how I'm doing for you. How is this relationship going for you? What value am I bringing to the table for you? So I can just kind of understand how I'm doing for you. We need that because we didn't live in a world where we got accurate gauges on anything. We were so gaslit. And the world was always in opposition to itself, to whatever the narcissist needed, that we, you know, don't know up from down. We don't know north from south. So if we're going to be looking at neediness, we just need to be looking at how we're depending on others for our sense of value, our sense of self, our sense of worth. Beyond that, though, asking for something we need or want isn't needy. Feeling it intensely isn't needy. Needing it frequently is not necessarily needy. That one we have to look at, though, because if you're constantly needing reassurance, we need to go deeper into the insecurity you're experiencing. So frequency can be an indicator of unresolved pain or trauma, and we need to look at that deeper. Okay, so that's the difference. Needs matter. It's neediness is really if there. It's only those two qualifiers: the frequency of it, and depending on somebody else for a sense of worth. Okay, so feeling needs intensely is not neediness, and that's what most people equate it to. Second question: what does it mean to take care of my own needs? A lot of times, and I did this growing up out of codependency, and sometimes I still do it. I tend, you know, the belief common amongst recovering codependents is that taking care of my own needs means I'm isolating myself and just making myself feel better. That's part of it, okay? But that's not the whole of it. There's interdependency is what taking care of our needs means. And what this word interdependency means is I have a need to feel connected. I'm lonely. That's a valid need, guys. Being lonely is real. It matters. And it's a little rabbit here, a little rabbit trail for you. Don't get into a relationship to eliminate loneliness. That's number one bad reason to do it. Trust me, I did it, and I ended up in a 10.5-year marriage that was a problem. You know, it was a mistake for me, for her, and the pain that ended up causing. But you know, we feel lonely. Okay, so that means we need connections. Well, now we know what to do, right? We can go and ask, hey, you want to go out to a movie? You want to go out downtown? You want to go get a pizza? You want to come hang out? You want to chat? You want to play a game? You want to talk? Connection. Easy. Simple. That's how we get our needs met. We identify the need, and then we ask. And sometimes nobody's going to be available. So what do? We regulate. We regulate. We touch, we comfort, we regulate. Number two, we connect to ourselves. We always come back and connect to ourselves. We're worth connecting to. When we get interested in who we are, we become very, very committed to just being with ourselves. So that's okay. So that's what it means to take care of our needs. We're asking. We're not expecting people to know our needs, to read our minds, or to reject us. We are being vulnerable and we're saying, I have this need, and let's do this thing. And we're willing to let people in. Okay? Healthy relationship is not a threat. Toxic relationship is. And now we've got to experience healthy relationship in a reliable way so that we can be at peace. Okay? So that's the gist there. Now there's a couple of other things that came up since posting that. And Christy's question about truly the difference between needs and being needy, we answered that. I'm going to be doing a sanity check on that as well. Let's see. There was another one up here. Oh yeah, Andrea. In response to, you're not crazy. You have a priority conflict, and part of this priority conflict you're dealing with your conflict here about taking care of your daughter because she has surgery, which that's a natural priority. Taking care of your daughter is a natural priority there. And then the problem at your work is you're owning a problem that's not yours, and 2, you're working on avoiding disappointing people, which puts you into immediate conflict with everybody. One of the most important and powerful things we can begin to do is face disappointing other people, embracing it, because we get freedom that way. And when we do that, when we face disappointing other people, we then encounter the insecurity we feel in our relationships and our own worth. And that's the deep healing work. And part of heal goes into that. It goes into the rejection. It goes into the trust. It goes into our natural belonging. So that would be a very valuable course, a resource for you, Andrea, if you want to really go deep on getting out of disappointing other people. So that's one element. The second element is you're owning the business's responsibility to manage itself. Let the business manage itself. You're an employee, and if they ask you and you say no, you go on with your life. They'll solve their problem. Let them solve their problem. You're not responsible for fixing it. I'm a business owner. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've owned other businesses before, and then I've also been an employee. And I did not take on problems that were not mine. I don't take on problems that belong to other people because I need to pay attention to my problems, right? Your big priority, your daughter, okay? So think about that. Think about your guys' priorities. Where are you putting those things, okay? Because that really, 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 really matters, okay? Okay, so thank you guys again for being a part of Thrive. I'm really, really excited. We've gotten a lot of new members in, and it's always fun and exciting, and sometimes they leave, and that's always a great call for me to get back in tune with rejection. It's like, hey, it's okay if people leave. It's okay if they don't stick around, because I'm not a fit for everybody, and not everybody's a fit for me. And and that's still a struggle. That's going to pull. And there's going to be things in your guys' recovery that pull on you. I want you to know that's normal. It's okay. I mean, people tell me I come off like I've got it all together. I mean, look, I don't have my fire alarm up. It's sitting over there. My biggest struggle is still with rejection and social rejection. When I was growing up, I got hammered hard socially. I was physically and sexually humiliated as a child and as a teenager, and by my peers. So socialization, being social, being open, being who I am, is still a challenge. Now, I'll tell you, 10 years ago, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So healing works, but healing works in cycles, it works in stages. And so it's okay if you make big progress and then you find another really deep place of insecurity or pain or shame or fear. That's normal. You guys are normal. We are courageous warriors. We're badasses because we're doing daring things. We're doing some of the scariest work a human being can do, and that is go against their own programming. Okay? So I want you to know that. I want you to know you're not alone. I'm just a little ways down the road from where you guys are at. I'm not like this big mystical guy that's got it all figured out. I've got a lot of things solved. I'm good at what I do, but that doesn't mean I know it all, and that doesn't mean that I don't struggle. And I want you to know that I do, because you're included in the world of struggle. We all do, and it all really matters. Okay? So I appreciate you guys. Remember, you're worth knowing, you're worth loving, and you're worth keeping. And I'll see you guys next week, and have a great day.